to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of prayer. Thank you.
Council President Fire.
Here.
Alderman Wadawa.
Here.
Alderwoman Calderon.
Here.
Alderman Brickner. Alderman Damon.
Here.
Alderwoman Fliss asked to be excused. Mayor Tutai.
Here. Telephonic meetings. None.
The meeting has been properly posted and noticed.
Public hearing. None. Presentation, KK and Lenham, older issue, MSA.
Presentation is probably a little overstated. What we provided with you is just a brief four-page slide that
Yes, because you're very soft-spoken, Mr. Pino.
Did you bring any odor samples?
Oh, boy. Please not.
All right, what we provided the council was just a four-page slide that Emma's going to go over here in just a minute, along with a memo that we had submitted to MMSD on behalf of MSA and the city of St. Francis back in December to discuss the odor issue. There is a item on the agenda tonight for an ordinance regarding lift stations. That we'll discuss at that point, but I'm just going to have Emma just do a real brief background as far as what we've done, some of the changes, and what's ahead.
Alrighty, I'm Emma from MSA, and I'm here to talk about our odor issue down at the intersection of Lenham and KK that has been happening for at least the past decade, which many of you are familiar with. In order to identify where this odor source was coming from, we looked at some main components that included the privately owned lift station up at the lakefront or Park Shore property, the force main connecting that down to the St. Francis gravity sewer, the vent pipe down by Green Park, the gravity main, and then the MMSD MIS. And so at each of these steps, we try to determine, could there be odor being produced here? Is it being released here? What is the cause, source, and any means of reduction? And during that time, we coordinated closely with MMSD as we're working with their sewer network as well as the cities. We placed MMSD's odor loggers in the St. Francis manholes to identify and analyze the odor concentrations in each manhole to try to narrow down where this odor could be produced. We performed investigations at that lift station, and we worked with the City Public Works Department to do sewer investigations, both on current quality and just odor identification. And then finally, with all that data, we made some conclusions, and we prepared and submitted a joint memo between MSA and the city, and we sent it to MMSD. And some of the measures that are being taken because of this, from that joint memo, MSA and the city requested that MMSD place a manhole cover on their MIS manhole in that intersection of KK and Lenham. They did that probably a month or two ago, and since then we've had no complaints of odor, so we're still open to looking out for odor, but definitely has reduced it. Another identified thing that we could do is St. Francis will increase the frequency of cleaning that sewer main, the force main from the lift station to the gravity main. St. Francis will continue replacing that media on the vent pipe. They do it regularly, and they will continue to do so. And then an ordinance is up for discussion tonight about lift station maintenance for private lift station owners. And at this point, the next steps will be to continue to monitor, see if the odor issues come back, see if we have reduced it to a level that is undetectable. Definitely keep fielding calls, so if you do smell something, please reach out. And then during this time, we will hope to leave those odor loggers in the sewers if MMSD agrees, so we'll be working with them. And then we will also be around to consider longer term solutions. The solutions we put up here are the ones with least cost and pretty much the easiest or quickest fixes while other solutions are determined. So definitely the fastest way to try to solve this issue. With that, is there any questions?
I just want to thank you for your work. And as much as MMSD in the fall wanted to make this sound like it was a new issue, Alderman Damon brought us a wonderful article, and Matt's got a really good pulse on the community. That article goes back to 2009 in the Journal Sentinel. So for it to hit the Journal, it had been a while before somebody finally got their attention and get here. So we're realistically probably approaching 2 decades where this has been a problem. So we appreciate your efforts and really getting it on MMSD's radar, because they would like to push it off as a St. Francis issue, but we do not believe that to be factual. So I appreciate your time, and thanks again, Matt, for that awesome article.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. I had a question, and if it's better when we talk about it during the legislative side, like, that's fine, but what is private lift station defined as? Is that something that's MMSD owned, or is that something that, like, I'm not aware of private homes having lift stations. I'm not exactly sure what a lift station even is.
Yes, so the lift station in question and kind of defined in this ordinance would be a lift station that is privately owned by a developer, which in this case is the Park Shore Waterfront Association.
Yeah, it's just
Any
north
other-
of Park Shore.
Got it, okay.
And then it would apply to any other entities such as this to develop a lift station if that were to happen in the future.
All right. Citizens' comments. William?
William Gerloff, 3900 South Kirkwood Avenue. I have been a resident of St. Francis for 39 years. After viewing the Common Council meeting, which was held on February 17th, I was concerned about the issue which was brought up, a possible vending machine or a table in the City Hall lobby with health issues and products for health. I've spoken many times about health issues of garbage and other yard debris on the city property, north of my home and down my alley. Also, people have used these bushes at the street as a toilet and dumping ground. The alderpersons for this area were contacted many, many times and nothing was done. The last problem brought up to the alderperson's attention was someone had dumped furniture in the alley behind Bert's Bar for weeks on end. This issue was finally properly taken care of with the help of police officer Michael Scott, and I gave him a big thanks for his effort. Not anything done by the Alder people. Let's clean up the alleys, which can cause us safety and health issues. Walk the area, talk to citizens, not run away from problems. We elected you to help solve citizens' concerns in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura?
Laura Delane, 3929 South Troy Avenue. Again, I'm still the crossing guard. It's still cold out there, but it is getting a little warmer, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, yeah.
Or probably one day.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm here tonight to talk about the Community for the Triangle website that we have available. Again, it's www.communityforthetriangle. And there's been a number of updates to our website, which are, I believe, very helpful for the community, as well as folks here tonight, to talk about kind of some of the background and what has happened. Where's the triangle been all this time? It's kind of sitting there. People are using it. Dogs are running around it. But what is the history, and why are we here where we are tonight? And then also there's a new piece on TIFs and TIDs, and there's so many people who don't understand so many pieces of that. So again, trying to help explain some of that information to folks. Just wanted to get that out there. And I also wanted to say that while some people do not consider the triangle a beautiful piece of land, I do. And it's not green now. I know that. There's a tiny bit of snow left, and it's pretty brown, but it is beautiful to all of us who use it and live with it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we please keep the applauses? Some people have complained that they wanted to speak and then they feel intimidated by that, so please keep your applauses. Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen Sahorsky at 3535 East Sevier, and I would like to remind the Common Council of the Planning Commission and the St. Francis community of the comprehensive plan, in particular for the Triangle property. The City of St. Francis's comprehensive plan updated February of 2016, Chapter 5, Land Use, under Lakeshore. Under Activities and Uses, allow development of small-scale specialty retail and office spaces to activate the city edge of the triangle, defined as Packard, Lake Drive, and Howard Avenues. High-quality construction and facade guidelines that support pedestrian scale. Create street edge along Packard Avenue and Lake Drive, creating an urban main street. Require preservation of view corridors from the Packard Avenue eastward to Lake Michigan. Maintain sidewalks throughout the district and linkages to surrounding neighborhoods and the lakefront. Encourage street level pedestrian activity. The comprehensive plan does not allow for high-rise apartments on the triangle. Per Chapter 9, the years to come, comprehensive plans with or without legislation have merit when they are based in community desires and guide the community in making decisions. In the years to come, the St. Francis community should utilize this plan for such guidance with or without a statutory requirement to do so. The City of St. Francis put a sizable amount of resources into this plan between 2013 and 2015, as did community members and elected officials. And this was bolded. Therefore, this comprehensive plan update must be regarded and used as the primary community master plan is to guide St. Francis into the next 2 decades. Thank you.
Kendall Fulmer, 3966 South Packard Avenue. I want to highlight and discuss some of the findings from public records that are relating to 3707 South Lake Drive that we commonly refer to as the Triangle property. During the December 2nd, 2025 budget public hearing, Mr. Johnsrud stated, and I quote, "Triangle property, there are no expenditures," end quote, and then revised to say, quote, "We have no development agreement with a developer, so we don't even have the details of the development yet," end quote. A public records request shows a voucher list and check register form that shows payment from the City of St. Francis to MSA Professional Services for a combined total of over $40,000 between March and December 2025 for the Triangle project. This includes over $8,000 towards the design of the Triangle property prior to the letter of intent to work with a Cream City Real Estate Investment Company. My interpretation of this information shows that the city did in fact have expenditures on the Triangle property prior to Common Council approval. A second point related to the Triangle relates to the property itself and financing surrounding TID 5. In reference to a July 13, 2021 Journal Sentinel article, the city purchased 3707 South Lake Drive for $3.5 million. The previous owners initially proposed a lower density development, including a supermarket, then sold the land because city officials were looking for more complex, higher density development. To pay for the Triangle, money was financed through TID 5. The city borrowed nearly $20 million, and these loans, which are accruing interest, were also used to pay a $7.4 million in grants towards the Mariner Apartments. Lastly, Mr. Johnsrud signed a letter of intent dated July 10, 2025, from a closed Common Council session in June 2025 to work exclusively with Cream City Real Estate as the developer for the Triangle. This was before the initial PUD dated August 20th, 2025, and before the Planning Committee recommended the rezoning of the Triangle property on August 27, 2025 to the Common Council. While this may be common knowledge for city officials, I think it's important for citizens to be aware of these details. Thank you.
Marty?
Marty Sahorsky, I'm 3535 East Sevier. I'm going to talk about something a little different tonight, a couple different things. I'm going to talk about luxury apartments and the vacancy rates of them. So I was just down in Cuddy, and they told me that the Scoot has only filled 15 of their 70 apartments. The Milwaukee Journal did an article on Monday about the stalled developments of luxury apartments. Article indicates that high interest rates, inflated construction costs, and economic uncertainty are key factors for causing delays. Some developers also cite a surplus of luxury apartments in the city as reason for pausing projects. For example, there is an Admiral's Wharf Apartments at 234 Water Street in the Harbor View, and they're still on hold. And the 11-story, 133 Harbor District apartment building received zoning in 2019. Additionally, according to Realtor.com's 2026 rental reporting, Milwaukee's rental vacancy jumped from 4.9% in 2024 to 10.8% in 2025. So, and according to my sources, developer plans to build the apartments first and may never get to phase 2, which are the commercial retail buildings. One other side note, I've been getting into the financial reports of the city. And one of the surprises, I've been researching, looking at other cities too, 5 other cities, and Fund 46 salaries are greater than $200,000 and over $2 million since TID 5 was created. This is important because there may be a conflict of interest between getting compensated more and doing what's best for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Mary?
Good evening, Mary Haven, 3505 East Sevier. Just going to be very brief tonight. I just want to mention, as we've been continuing, referencing the Triangle property again, as we've been gathering more community support and gathering signatures for our petitions, I wanted to also mention that a lot of residents are not necessarily going to come to meetings and make their voices heard. But there is a sentiment from many residents about their displeasure about the past development of apartment buildings and some of the other development along the lake specifically. So I just want to let the council know that there are people that are disgruntled about what has been developed, the current plan for this apartment development, the parking lots, the water retention pond, etc. And it's it's very interesting to hear from residents, as this gentleman was mentioning, that it is important to represent the residents of St. Francis and not take chances on not only, like Marty mentioned, the surplus of apartments in the Milwaukee area, which was highlighted very well in the Journal Sentinel yesterday, but also that the residents don't want this project. And due to economic concerns with some of these stalled developments in the Milwaukee area specifically, and as well as the Scoot, is that we have concern about the current developer also, and that increases the risk that this could be an uncompleted project that we don't want either. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sheila?
I'm Sheila Semro. I live at 3862 South Lake Drive. I have something I wanted to read that I wrote, but I want to add two things. For the Community for the Triangle, the petition count is now at 728 total, and 329 are from District 3. I also want to say that I live at Park Shore, and for as long as I've lived there, 10 years, the occupancy rate has been 100%. As soon as somebody wants to sell, it's sold. They don't remain vacant, and only a few are rented out. If somebody gets transferred for their job, they go to another city, they alone are the landlord renting it out, and they vet the people, and they have to have a year lease. And so there's really great statistics with condos. Okay. I just want to mention that studies show that the top 5 demands of Wisconsin's small communities are natural beauty and outdoor access, convenience and amenities, which includes a desire for a quaint downtown area, local restaurants, specialized shops, and areas that are walkable and contribute to a walkable lifestyle. Also, social connectivity, strong community environments with local events are highly valued. Quality infrastructure and services, education and safety. I'm asking city officials, the mayor, administrator, common council members, and alderpersons to please listen to the existing St. Francis property owners who care deeply about what is being considered for the Triangle. It's absurd to scrap the previously approved comprehensive plan for something that would be completely out of character and context for that location and the neighbors. So I can't synopsize all this. I needed like another 30 seconds. But please respect also the existing St. Francis business owners on Packard Avenue who've made significant investments in their business. They are thriving, and people visit them from all over southeastern Wisconsin. It's already a destination. Why not build on those existing successes and continue to create a mixed-use retail zone as has been planned for many years?
Thank you.
Christine Karnak, 3584 East Norwich Court. I echo everything my fellow citizens are saying here at St. Francis regarding the Triangle. I too have experienced a lot of disgruntled neighbors. They may not be here in this section tonight, but as I got more involved with Community for the Triangle, I realized the more I communicate with my fellow citizens, the more they are willing to talk about how they do not want this current project to go through, particularly the 13-story tower apartment complex. And Sean, I know you mentioned that we are hyper-focused on that, but I think we're hyper-focused on it because people genuinely don't want it. I agree with Sheila that we should integrate businesses that work with the community we have and the businesses we have. And as far as green space, I don't think green space should have to justify its beauty to humans just to exist. So with that in mind, that is what I have to say as a citizen. Thank you.
Thank you. Jane?
Jane Stolz, 4130 South Lake Drive. I live at the Landing, number 475. I'm here also because of the high-rise proposal at what I consider a lovely open space, the Triangle. Obviously, we have different ideas of what we appreciate and what we enjoy. And I too have been, I've been collecting signatures on many streets in St. Francis, and I can tell you with sureness that the people we have talked to are against having the high-rises built in the Triangle. They are in support of some kind of development, and they're vehemently against the high-rise proposal. But again, open to having something that would more fit in with the character of St. Francis, perhaps small business, apartment buildings of a smaller size. And those people who did not come to the door, I respect that, but most people did. We have signs that are showing up throughout the city. And I'm asking that could we work with the Common Council instead of having two sides? Why not work together and come up with some type of a compromise that would benefit most of us in the city? So thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for citizen comments? Consent agenda. Is there any alderperson that'd like anything removed?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Recommendation of action from committees, commissions, and boards. Action to be taken from the licensing committee meeting held March 3rd, 2026. Don?
Mayor, we're looking for a new beverage operator's license for Manfred Hoffman.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Next, we got a request for disabled on-street parking for parking space, Jennifer A. Larson at 3662 South Rutland Avenue.
I'll second that with the recommendation that we don't pour that apron there.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Next is a local mobile food unit food truck, Tree Ripe Fruit Company, 44A South Lapham Street, Oconomowoc, for to have the truck in the city. No appearance required.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And that's all from licensing, Mayor.
Thank you, Don. Action to be taken from finance? None. Action to be taken from bargaining? None. Action to be taken from the Board of Public Works? None. Action to be taken from the Planning Commission? None. Resolutions and ordinances?
An ordinance to repeal and create section 374-2 of the City of St. Francis Code of Ordinances to establish certain standards concerning private lift stations.
Did you want to add anything?
Or Bill?
Paul could not make it tonight because he's ill. But this is the ordinance that dovetails in with what Bill and Emma had indicated. We have one private lift station within the city of St. Francis. It's along the lakefront. When that development went in, ironically, the Lakeside Power Plant, when it went out in 1987, all that land along the lakefront was designated as industrial, and it was all designated as historic landfill. So much of the development that occurred along the lakefront is actually built on a historic landfill. And that includes the condominiums and the apartments development and the new apartment development that's going on across the street, as well as the Triangle property is also designated a historic landfill, as well as the property that we're sitting on today was at one time a two-story tall coal pile that supported the Lakeside Power Plant for decades. But the point is that is our only private lift station within the city of St. Francis, and it services all the development that's along the lake, including the condominium developments. It was sized to meet the needs of all the development that's going to be occurring along the lake, not necessarily the Triangle property. The Triangle property would go into force mains that we have existing, but all the property that would be east of Lake Drive is within that lift station. So what's happened over time is, because it's not fully developed, but it was sized for the entire area to be developed, that the lift station has not been maintained or doesn't cycle as often as a lift station should for the size of the lift station that was placed there. So what that means is that quite often when waste goes into that lift station, it may sit in there for hours or even days before it's cycled and pumped into the force main at Barlin and KK. What that means is when you leave that waste sitting in the lift station for that amount of time, it generates odors and issues, gases that are created that contribute to that odor at the corner of Barlin and KK. So what this ordinance does is it indicates that on private lift stations, the city, through our sewer utility, has the right to require that lift station to be maintained more on a regular basis to ensure that we don't have the odors. So that's the reason why the ordinance is on the agenda tonight. You'll need a motion for that.
Couple of questions. So I would imagine that there is already maintenance being done on this lift station. I guess, is the city really just requiring kind of documentation of that maintenance now, or what's the, what's the change here, and what's the, I guess, what's the burden that we're placing on the private owner?
Yes, so, I don't know if that's on. That's okay. Typically, lift stations will be maintenance about annually. That's kind of what I would recommend for any lift station. The previous information that we got on it was that they kind of had a recommended cycle by their contracted engineering company to maintenance it every 5 years. And so kind of what Mark was getting at, it kind of gets a sludge layer on the bottom. That creates the stuff that makes the smell, and then it goes down to Lunham and KK. And so this isn't a huge ask. It's kind of just asking for a more regular schedule, and then for that to be reported to the city.
I would also just note that currently the city's ordinance does not address maintenance at all. So this is essentially putting an ordinance in place that would address current but also future lift stations to essentially create that schedule so that there is a regular maintenance schedule, and also allow the city, should those not be done, to be able to intervene if necessary.
The other question I have is, every home in the Trestle Creek community has what we call grinder pumps. Does that count as a lift station? Is that a similar thing?
I understand the concept of their similarity, but in this case, they are being separated out as different entities. So if a homeowner were to put this pump in, they would not be under this ordinance.
I'll make a motion to adopt the repeal and create of section 374-2.
I just want to state, before we go any farther with this, I mean, the city of St. Francis has dealt with odors before. I've been an existing resident in the city since 1994. We've had lemon pledge smells from the barrel company, and we had urinal puck smells from the barrel company, which was corrected. And 20 years later, we're still dealing with stench, and now it's raw sewage. I think that if those people that maintain and operate Jones Island had to live there, they would have a whole different attitude on simply covering a manhole cover with a solid cover instead of having it vented. Makes no sense. Everybody knows where it's coming from. Everybody knows what it is. To have them try and not pay for it is what is aggravating.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Discussion items with possible action. Appointments to committees, commissions, and boards.
Celebrations Committee, Jeff Schaefer and Stephanie Stump. Sexual Offender Residency Board, Ray Klug, Alderman Brickner, Charles Buchel.
Recommend approval of appointments to committees this evening as identified.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Correspondence with possible action or referral to committees, commissions, and boards.
Correspondence dated February 27th, 2026 from Mayor Tutai regarding appointment of city clerk treasurer. Interviews for the city clerk treasurer position were held on February 12th, 2026. The interviews were conducted by City Administrator Johnsrud, Alderwoman Fliss, and City Clerk Treasurer Eaker. Following the interview process, the committee unanimously selected Rebecca Gagnon to serve as the city's next city clerk treasurer. Her appointment will become effective on May 29th, 2026. Ms. Gagnon will be issued the oath of office at 12 p.m. on May 29th.
Speech.
I'll move to, do we need to approve it and place
Yes.
it on file?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Yay. Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to get excited. Correspondence dated February 27th, 2026 from the city clerk treasurer regarding posting and filling a vacant position. I am respectfully requesting that the deputy clerk treasurer position be posted and filled. With the appointment of Deputy Clerk Treasurer Rebecca Gagnon to the position of City Clerk Treasurer, the clerk's office now has a vacancy that needs to be addressed. Given the upcoming spring election, the transition to Badger Books, and the need for cross-training within the office, it is imperative that we fill the Deputy Clerk Treasurer position as soon as possible. Doing so would allow Deputy Clerk Treasurer Gagnon adequate time to train the new hire in her current role, as well as provide an opportunity for the new employee to receive training from me prior to my retirement in May. Filling this position promptly will help ensure continuity, accuracy, and efficiency within the clerk's office during this period of transition. Thank you for your consideration.
Move to approve and place on file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Unfinished business? None. Other business? None. Department heads?
None.
Okay. Bill?
I'll keep my comments brief. I just wanted to provide an update on the capital improvement plan for the street improvements that are scheduled to take place this summer. As I had mentioned, that we did have a modification to the streets due to some planned improvements by the city of Milwaukee. So we've cut down the number of streets that we're going to be doing, and we've pushed back the schedule slightly, just 2 weeks. As of right now, the end of March, we'll be advertising for that project. We're anticipating right now that we've noticed the preliminary special assessment hearing for April 8th. Which is also the date of the bid opening. And then we would anticipate 2 weeks later, on the 21st, that we would make a recommendation to the city council for award of that bid to the selected contractor. We're still anticipating a June construction and the idea to wrap up all construction before Labor Day. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, young William. Chief?
I too will be brief. After this week's department head meeting, I had the health administrator, Jackie Ovey, to the fire department to view that vending machine. It will be more than sufficient. It's even backlit with LED lights. We are working on jailbreaking it right now because it does require passwords because it was used for medication and equipment dispensing. So we're working on that as we speak, and we'll be moving forward with probably some graphics. I'm working with the health department on it, so it's full speed ahead. And the other thing is I look forward to, prior to this weekend, I'll be doing giving 2 conditional offer employment for firefighter paramedic. Those appointments will obviously have to be confirmed by the Police and Fire Commission next month, but the Fire Academy is scheduled to begin in early May. And with that, I pass.
Thank you. Chief?
The police department is going to be interviewing 6 candidates for open positions of police officer this week. You'll see our officers continuing to be out, conducting traffic stops related to our speed, seatbelt, and OWI grants. Myself and several officers have been participating in our Reading Across America. I got to read to some very spirited kindergartners this morning. It was absolutely fantastic, made my day. I wish every day could be like that. We have some graduates that will be coming up from the Choose Not to Lose program that we have at Deer Creek. The graduation will be March 10th. I'll be attending that. Citizens Academy, we still have, we're still accepting applications for the Citizens Academy, which will be from March 25th through May 13th. So if you know anybody who's interested, please send them our way. We are also exploring the idea of decreasing the front office window hours for the police office. Back in October of 2025, for about a 6-week period, we were down a clerk and had those office hours reduced. We did not have any problems. I had my clerk kind of look back historically to take a look at what the traffic was like for citizens during that time period. It would be the hours of 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. and there was very, very little activity. So in an effort to try and keep my office staff from wanting to jump ship, decreasing those hours I think will be a little bit more productive for me. I can have my head clerk do a few more projects for me and my police department as I kind of get a little bit more familiar and start moving the department in the direction that I want it to go. That?
Thank you, Chief. Ann?
A couple things. Rebecca has been working really hard doing Badger Book training. They'll be rolled out at our April election. Do we have another day where they're going to be set out, Rebecca? Right. And we've had people coming in to look at them. They're pretty cool. Hopefully it will shorten the lines on election day, but the back end of election administration is going to be so much easier, and we're looking forward to that. Besides that, thank you for allowing us to start advertising and filling that position. I'm really excited. We have the best candidate to take over for me. You'll just have to get used to somebody who's not going to yell at you on the council floor and who's probably going to be politer than I've ever been to any of you. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I saw her, you know. I know. I saw her ordering everybody around during stuff, but the city's in great hands, and I'm very excited that Rebecca's the one that's going to be sitting in my chair. And last but not least, of course, we have that thing going on this weekend, so don't forget Citizen of the Year starts at 6 p.m. at the Lions Community Center. And with that, I think I'm done, but I'm sure I'll think of something else.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to note that my office remains open for any resident questions. Having sat through a number of these public comment sessions at the council meetings, there's an awful lot of misinformation or misunderstanding of information, I think, with regard to the comprehensive plan, zoning, our ordinances, TIDs. I know Marty has come and spoken with me directly here at the office, but I encourage anybody to come and speak with me if you have questions on those sorts of things, because some of the comments that we've heard here at these council meetings, it's not exactly the way it is. And so if you have questions on how a TID works, if you have questions on how rezoning works, if you have questions on the comprehensive plan, we can discuss that, because I think that everyone's interpretations maybe don't meet what the interpretations of the city might be with regard to many of these things. So again, my office is always open. If you have questions, you can reach out to me via email. You can give me a telephone call. I'll be happy to talk to you on the phone. If you want to talk to me in person, we can talk here as well. But the point is I want to make sure that if people are communicating to other people in the community, that we're being transparent with them and we're giving them the information that is the correct information and not misinformation. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Matt?
Thank you. I just, again, appreciate everyone coming out tonight, sharing their thoughts. You know, we will, I'm continuing to listen, and I do appreciate the input. The phasing, to me, that was mentioned, I haven't heard that myself, but it is something that is apparently making its way a little bit through the rumor mill. And I do want to be clear, if there is no commercial development in the first phase, it's a no-go for me. I'm, you know, the commercial piece of this is hugely important to me, and I think that we would be doing a disservice to the Triangle if there was no commercial development in phase one. So that being said, I am continuing to you know, look at I want to look at the development, and I want to know what is in the final PUD before I make any other kind of statements around you know, anything but neutral on the project itself. And I think we, as a community, you know, should wait for that final PUD in order to know what we're dealing with. And we'll take that as it comes. But I need commercial in the first phase, because that's kind of the whole point of this. So with that, I pass.
Thank you, Matt. Steve? Thank you, Steve. Don?
Mr. Mayor, I want to start out by saying I have been an alderman in this city for coming up on 22 years. I recall the Mandel-owned property. Mr. Mandel made a decision that he was never going to develop that property because of disagreements he had with people within the city. And I can say that because I was at that meeting when Mr. Mandel said, I will never develop that property in the city of St. Francis. So to say that people up here don't really care about what's going on in the city, everybody on this dais may have a different opinion, but everybody on this dais is looking for the best for the city of St. Francis. Otherwise, believe me, we wouldn't be here. We don't get a whole lot of compensation, and it's not that I'm asking for any more compensation, but you can only get your ears filled so much. And I've never had anybody call me in regards to this property, even those that have come to the Common Council meeting and know that I'm probably going to be one of the hardest sells on this property, because I also have questions, serious questions. Nobody's asked me to sign a petition. Nobody's called my house and asked me my opinion. But yet you'll come to the common council and badmouth us as if we don't have our heart for the city. I am an existing resident in the city, have been an existing resident in the city since 1994. And the only reason why I got involved in city government was because, well, first of all, my alderman lied to my face twice, but I had a thought and an outlook of what I wanted the city to look like. And if anybody else in the second district wants that opportunity, it'll be available in 2 years, because I'm not running again. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Don, and thank you for your 22 years of service. Appreciate that. Sarah?
Once again, I just would like to thank all of you citizens who have come to share your comments, your opinions, your thoughts and feelings. We do, as others up here have said, we do take that into consideration. We do appreciate your time, and we're very glad that you are coming to share that information with us. With that, I pass.
Thank you, Sarah. Sean?
First, very important, congratulations, Rebecca. Well earned, and looking forward to continuing to work with you. As far as the data this evening, it's ironic that none of those developments are in St. Francis. They're in Milwaukee and Cudahy. We are not Milwaukee, we are not Cudahy. Park Shore, as she told us this evening, is 100% occupied. The Landing, occupied. Mariner Developments, as soon as it's empty, occupied. 4,200 on the lake, occupied. You are not comparing St. Francis to Milwaukee. Now, to the council members who are here, and Ann, I think you can remember 2 decades ago when we were looking to develop Park Shore and the Landing, it was an atrocity. We can't do this. Oh my God, you're gonna ruin this city. What are you doing? We can't have that in this community. It doesn't meet this community standards. Those same residents are fighting development of housing for future residents. There's some hypocrisy in that. It's okay for Park Shore and the Landing. It wasn't okay for Mariner. How dare they build 4,200 and now the new one? But we got what we want. We don't want anybody else here with that. That's so hypocritical. The proposal is not in front of us in its entirety yet. We do know about 2 housing complexes, but there are 6 to 7, maybe 8 other developments, mixed use developments, retail. I agree with Matt. That is crucial to this being a successful development. If you want to stay with the character of St. Francis, let's look at the true character of St. Francis. It is an 800 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. 900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1-bath home. That is the character of St. Francis. Park Shore is not. The Landing is not. Nor is Mariner Development or 4,200 on a lake. But we openly welcome every one of those people into this community because this community has to evolve. And yes, I stand behind my statement that we are hyper fixated on these high-rise developments, but there are additional development opportunities in there, and we're going to lose that opportunity. This is an opportunity that is only going to be here for a short period of time. If we don't go with this developer, and I'm not saying we have to pray a developer comes soon enough that we can actually help them develop this. A developer without TID or TIF assistant is never going to be able to make that happen. That window of opportunity is closing. We don't get a project moving. Even if it's not this one, you're not going to see that develop. You're not going to see the tax gain on that property. So as emotional as this is for you, we on this dais have a job to do, and that job is to raise tax levy in this city so your taxes overall go down. And to Mark's point, those numbers are not being presented factually. As I explained in the last meeting, when the TID was formed, whatever that tax increment off that district was, it remains until the TID is matured. Everything that is gained in the process pays back whatever was given to help the developer develop that property. When it reaches maturity, that goes back into the tax levy and it helps lower the tax rate. We haven't seen it yet, but that's because it's 20 years. We're nearing the end of that process. But we're also losing the opportunity to develop this, and we're scaring away developers. We're not even hearing the PUD in front of us. We don't even know what the plan is yet, and we're telling them, don't do it, don't do anything. We don't even know what they're offering. This is not fact, but let's say it's Jim Jones Grocery going in, but they see this meeting. I'm not going there. I'm walking away. I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with that community. We're not putting our best foot forward. We're not even giving them the opportunity to show us what their plans are, and we're telling them no. That's disappointing. This is a welcoming community, but we're not showing that. And again, in the character of St. Francis, this town is blue collar. The average household income in this community is barely over $50,000. Average. We're never going to be able to pay for this community if we don't have some development and increase our tax levy. And that's what we're trying to do. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Sean. Matt, I agree with everything you said, and I'd like to emphasize, I agree with you 100%, not only for this development, but for any future ones. Commercial has to go with the residential hand in hand. I cannot emphasize that enough. Rebecca, congratulations, well earned. Being mayor, part-time, I do a little bit more than part-time hours, and I see how hard she works. She's going to be a great addition, taking Ann's shoes, which are big shoes to fill, but we all got confidence you will do it. And with that, can I get a motion?
Is that true you got big feet, Ann?
Apparently.
Didn't say feet, I said shoes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, we are adjourned.